We'll know here in 30 seconds. Oh yeah, and there's a lot of volume here too. That's why I didn't share this one because I found it afterwards, but there's also a lot of volume right here at in this little candle. So you guys can pretty clearly see this little candle there. Be curious to see how price reacts to that.
Morning.
Oh, we're there. Okay, it just shoved right through it. So no, or it went right. Oh wow, look at that. It ticked it. That's crazy. Look at that. It didn't even go one tick below it. It just dipped right into that zone that I was just talking about and bounced right off the exact low of that candle. Good morning, Gabriella. That's crazy. 686.25. 686.25. Yeah, the exact low of that candle. That'd have been crazy risk reward right there, like this, because it went in one candle right straight back up. So we've got buying on we've got aggressive buying on the mini version of NASDAQ and aggressive selling on the micro. Buyers are stepping in on the micro version now. There's a lot of buyers at 750, which is VWAP. Wix still doing the same thing.
Big old wigs.
Yeah, look at those.
Look at those things. I'm not doing nothing. You got indecision.
Looks like a Friday, man.
Yeah, it does. I guess it would have been no way for me to hold on to my 25-point trade, but that's all right.
Ken, I was like a minute late getting on. Did you say you were looking at the? I mean, it already took that London high. Are you going to wait for it to get to the overnight high then instead?
Oh yeah, that's what I was. I'm glad you said that because I was looking at it. Look, there's a lot of volume here, so I'm not opposed to trying to snag a 25-point trade here. But what I was talking about earlier was we've got untested volume right up above here, so you could, you're right to question it. Do we take the trade here? Do we wait for this one? I don't know what it's going to do at this point. I know there's a ton of trading volume right where it's at this eight, right at this line. That's why I got that line there.
Mm-hmm.
Man, if I would have traded every line I put on this freaking chart today, that'd have been nice. A lot of volume here at 800. I was expecting some sort of defense there. Let me see what it did. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's gonna shoot up above it. or if it's gonna give us a nice trade. Typically when I do when it's like that, I'll go half my size. You know, I'll just go 50%. I'll go half my size. That way, if I do lose this one, if I'm a little bit more confident on my next zone, I can go with my normal size, and then I can offset the loss plus make some profit. You know.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, if you, I wish you would have been here. I marked up this little zone. I didn't share this in the chat because I found it afterwards, but I had it on here before Price touched it, and I was like, "Yeah, this little
Yeah, I
corridor."
saw that one.
It I mean, I'm actually proud of it because it just went to the tick, the exact same low as this one. That would have been a huge trade, but I didn't take that one either. Okay, yeah, it is Friday too. Yeah, look at that. That's volume coming in. Lots of volume. And now also we have not swept lows either, so this don't look too bad down here.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
620.50. It's the exact low. And then we do got a volume level in here, so just know that it's a good chance that I hate these two because I would have I would have taken the trade here for a 25-point bounce. But sometimes when there's a volume level in here, it'll come to the volume level and then bounce. So it's like I could get a lot more profit. You know what I mean? I could still do the same, right? I could target my 25 points up here, but I could also add in a bunch there, plus cut a bunch of risk off. But I also may miss the trade if it does bounce there. So it doesn't hit the, you know, sometimes it'll go almost to the volume level, but not quite. Look at these candles, man.
These candles suck. That's what they do. The big ass fucking wicks on these damn things. Like I want to buy or sell, but I don't know. I'm content right now.
I'm
I'd like to
still
wait
in
till it
the
gets to
first
below.
in the candle.
Yeah.
Still on side of the first bottom of the candle.
I think it's going to be a huge
Saw them
sell-off,
over.
maybe like yesterday.
Maybe.
Yesterday, that thing sold all day long.
Friday the 13th today too.
Oh yeah, it is, ain't it? Look at
Hey, I'm blessed.
that. I'm gonna do the right thing. I as much as I want to take the trade at this 620 level, I'm only gonna take it if it goes to 600, and that's gonna literally give me a stop right below the low there. So it'll be low risk. It'll be low risk, and I'll be able to add that to my profit.
Another 25-point bounce.
Yep, eating through them. That wick
I didn't
was
take it, but it was there.
that wick was just a nice retest of the old value area low, or of the value area low. So seems like it's trying to work its way down there. I thought I honestly thought this was gonna be a lot more explosive today, this morning. Watching the order flow as it was coming up. Yeah.
That CPI come out today too. Earlier.
What did you say?
It came out at
So
CPI
we
came out
had
at
Oh yeah, that's right. Had some divergence there. VIX going up, holding up above 20. Yeah.
Hey Ken, to clarify that, so if the VIX is going up and holding up above 20, then typically NASDAQ is going to be selling down, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understood.
Yep. Yeah, they run opposite of each other. They run opposite of each other, but the main thing is the context that you can add because of the levels. It's kind of, people call it like a fear gauge, right? And so, you have these levels that you can see them right here, 20, 25, and so on and so forth. You do a quick little Google search and you'll see it. I'll probably end up, oh, there it is. Look at that. Y'all hear the volume coming in?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Man, that freaking sell off the 800. To the tick. They're being so predictable today that it's almost hard to believe. Like, it's hard to trust. So here we come down to 800. I mean, to the low right there. There's liquidity down at 600. We just ate up liquidity, and bam, you guys just won that trade if you took that.
Yeah, I took it.
Nice job. Nice job. I did not. I'm waiting to go in at 600 just because I'm stubborn, I guess. I don't know why I'm doing this.
Are you looking for a reversal down there, Ken?
Yeah, I was gonna. It's very low risk. I mean, I was gonna take the trade where you guys just took it and put my stop right down here below this low. So now instead, I'm just gonna enter at 600, and my stop is still gonna be below the low. So literally the worst case scenario that could happen is I lose a couple points, just a couple points, and that's it.
Yeah, I was in the cell. I should have stayed in it and got out.
Yeah. So now, where was the OTP? That would have been right there. We'll see if it holds up or not. Nah, it knocked me out. Yeah, that's all right. I literally lost like 20 bucks. So it was worth the try.
So, Ken, how many points are you setting your stop loss for when you're entering a trade? Like,
I do these 25 for 25. These zones
so,
specifically, I go 25 for 25 on them.
25 for 25. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, just
So
25.
so you know how much you're going to lose and how much you're going to make if based on your stop loss and take profit
Exactly.
automatically.
Yeah, exactly that.
Okay.
And then the math is real easy too. If I use 1 micro, I know it's this much. If I use 2 micros, it's this much. So it makes it easy and no thinking. It makes it no
Mhm.
thinking for me when I am trading. If I see something, because a lot of times I'll see a volume level and I'm like, I don't know about that one, and
Right.
I might not want to trade it because of that. And so yeah, doing it this way just overall makes the whole thing easier for me because, like, for example, here, we got a zone here, but we've got say an untested volume zone above it.
Hmm.
I may not want to take that, right? I may not want to take
Right.
that because of that volume zone, or I may just go in with lower risk, right? I might just cut the risk in half because I know I win and lose them. So sometimes I say, I'm not going to take that. Like what I just did with that one. I said I'm not going to take it, and and then it wins, right? But
Right.
I don't know if it's going to win or not. But look at that. Look at that
Yeah,
bounce.
it's pulling all the way back up to the range.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe we go right back to 721, or I mean even higher, but that's easy.
Hmm.
That's the midpoint of the day. That's where we just came from, and that's where all the volume is. POC's up there. POC's at a 740. VWAP's at 739. It's going back up there. That's a guarantee.
Mhm.
It's got to. Don't let me say guarantee and then not do it. All right.
All right.
And,
If it comes back, if it comes back down, we'll catch it on the way back down, I guess.
yeah. And I did. Y'all know I did manage to get in there.
So Kent, I did what you did, except for so I waited for it to get down closer to 600, and then I used the round levels, and because I've been using those a lot since you told me about them.
Yep.
So my stop was just a hair below where the low was, and I just picked up 400 on that.
There you go. Yeah, I got it.
Nice.
I got it from 600 back up to 718 as well.
I mean, I could still be holding it, but I pulled my 1 to 4 out. I'm done.
Very good job.
That's it. My Friday is over.
You did it.
I've been waiting, man. I'm starting to
Yeah.
get better at these. I'm watching these levels that you're marking. I mean, I've been watching the London high and low, and then now I'm watching the overnight high and low too, but also whatever levels you put up. But man, this thing is just pushing. Holy cow! There's another $100. That's all good. I'll take my profit.
Yeah, I just hit my goal for the day out of that move. Yeah, this I hope that this session indicator really helps you, with highlighting those areas, and then with the with the what I love to do is very exciting to me is this is what I do every morning is I mark up my own zones manually. So I'll mark everything up, and I'll put this like this, and I'll just look at how obvious that is. So I'll mark up all my zones manually, just like this. Oh yeah, hold on. I gotta check something here. Okay. So I'll mark up my zones manually, and then I'll mark everything up, and then I'll go and I'll look at order flow, and I'll say, okay, based on order flow, these are areas I expect to be defended. This, that, blah 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 blah. And then I add the and then I'm like, okay, I know where I'm at, I know what I'm doing. And then boom, I put the volume levels on there. And then that's what really gives me like, like, oh, okay, so we have this, but this is what we really got, and so I'm telling you, these untested CME levels, price loves to go to them. These have already been tested all day, all night. This one too, but these have not been tested yet. These zones up here have not been tested yet, and they're up above highs. So, Ray, you were asking about, zones and whatnot. This is exactly kind of one of those situations where I may decide to go in with less risk because I've got a
Mhm.
zone. I've got a zone here. I got a zone here, but we've got an untested volume zone up above there. But I think that this just gave profit again. Yeah, it did. This one just gave another trade. If you traded this zone, it just also pulled back for at least 25 points. If you entered here, you would have gotten your points there. Man, everything won today.
Yeah, that's the part I'm struggling with, just nailing down when to get in. I mean, the entry, you know.
The entry
But
is
I'll get
like
it.
this. I mean, so what these zones right here, and let me get rid of these. Let me make sure all of my orders are closed real quick. We're coming up to this daily high rate. So, like as an example, look, I don't know if this one's gonna work because we have a volume zone above it. So, but
Mhm.
and hold on, I have to check something here. So it's a zone. It's a zone just like this. So literally, the entry when I'm doing these and I share these, this is the entry, and I put the stop just right up. These boxes are actually 26 points. They're not 25 points. So if you see,
Okay.
it starts
Right.
at well, yeah, it's 26 points, and so I've already kind of accounted for the 1 point that I like to add to it. So I just go like this, 25 points or 26 points for 25 points. So I would have done the same thing right there. We did the same thing down here, but reversed. How do you reverse it? I got to right click it. Somehow you could reverse this. I remember reverse. Right. And so this, I know that it looks like this lost, but it actually won. So it actually won. It went up before it went down. They're just
Mm-hmm.
really fast like that. And so this one too, like see this one as well. It looks like it, you have to pay attention to the wick. It went up and then it went down right here. So they're just super fast when price reaches those areas. So
Yeah.
when I mark those zones up, if you want to trade those, that's exactly how. So even today, like during in mentorship, I shared the levels right there before it reached that level, right? So you should know based on what I'm doing. So you'll start getting used to it. Like I'm using this low right here, or you can just
Mm-hmm.
ask. But when price reaches this area, that's my entry. This is my stop loss, and I'm looking for 25 points on it. And so, and then shortly after, price ended up hitting that level, right? Oh goodness, that was back here. That was right here. So this one hit easy. I mean, it just went bink, bink, and hit 25 points fast.
And we were literally one tick away from the 24,852. So like
Oh, it didn't
it's
touch
been
it.
hitting those levels.
One tick away though, huh?
Yeah.
That one's already
Hey,
tested.
Ken.
Yeah.
Go
Oh,
ahead on mine.
I was just gonna ask, when you post your those charts in mentorship every day, would it be possible? Because sometimes you have zones that are not like London high low or overnight high low. Is there a way for you, or could you just put like a blue? Because I can't see what price it is on the right on the scale. Like I can see your box, right, but I can't
Yeah.
see what the price is. Like, is it possible to put one of your blue lines or something there so that it shows it in the scale where
Right,
what
right.
the
Yeah,
price
I
is
can
on it? Like the
yeah,
zone it's
I
in
can
right
do
now,
that.
for example.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
do that.
appreciate it.
Sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't. Yeah.
No, I've seen you do it. I've seen you do it sometimes. I'm trying to guess exactly where it is, in the way that we're doing this. It's like you kind of have to be at least
Exact.
pretty close. Yeah,
Yeah,
exact.
yeah.
So, look at this thing coming all the way back down again. That's crazy.
This is our
I
new
looked at, I,
this is our new
I looked
midpoint
at,
right there.
I
Mm-hmm.
looked at where my entry was. It was like it ended up being like a 1 to 8 move.
Oh
I got
wow.
1 to 4. So
Nice.
yeah, it's crazy. But I'm glad you told. I'm glad I listened to you because otherwise I probably would have entered on the London low and it would have taken out my 25 point
Yeah.
stop. So
Yep.
Yeah. So if the volume level is close to that low, I'd go for the volume level
Yeah.
instead of the low.
Yeah. It's crazy how
well,
often
and
it
I
does
gotta
it.
yeah, I gotta start putting those back on my chart. I took them off because I was seeing it was just like too much stuff. But now that we're trading, and Ken, I know we had a call and everything, but I've kind of just changed my whole philosophy on this stuff to where I'm looking at honestly, if I could just hit one, because I'm looking to hold them. So 1 to 2 top,
Hmm.
probably in the first hour of the day, and I'm done. Like because and I find too that like usually if it's gonna hit one of those extremes, like it hits it pretty quickly, and
Yeah.
then the move happens, and then it's kind of like it may do some stuff the rest of the day, but a lot of times that's kind of it. And so I'm just trying to get, and even if I don't get a trade, like yesterday, there wasn't a trade yesterday, so it's like okay, then you just kind of sit in my hands and don't do anything. But
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's kind of where my philosophy is now, and I think it's working a little better for me too. So
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know what? You know what I always say? I just say pick something and stick to it, and I will do my best to work with you and guide you through it. A lot of strategies work, you guys, and that's the thing. A lot of strategies work, but the only way you'll ever build confidence, enough confidence to stick to it through the hard times, is to stick to it through all the times. You know what I mean? You just have to do it. You just have to show up and execute, take those trades. And I think it's good to find something that resonates with you that makes sense. It needs to make sense because you are going to need to feel comfortable sticking to it. And so once you got that, and that's what I love about what we have here is we have plenty of different things to resonate with people. I've built different things based on feedback from other people. So I have something for everybody. It's just up to you to find it, say, this is what I like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to stick to it. And then that's exactly what you do. You stick to it. And you're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. And then, you have your data, right? And that's the most important stuff, is when you can actually look at it and say, all right, based on the real data, what I've done, this works or this doesn't work, and you can make actionable changes at that point. Here's my results for the day. I've been green every single day this week too. There's not a single day that I didn't win. So I
work.
lost. Yeah, I lost that one trade, but I lost like a couple points on it because of where I entered. I entered right at 600 and I had my stop right here, so it was like nothing. And I traded 1 micro, by the way. That was 1 micro. All this work is on 1
Nice.
micro per trade, yeah. And then I ended up trading this all the way back up to 721 from 600.
Hey, Ken, also just to note on the like about 20 minutes ago or whatever, when it bounced off that 24,600 zone, there was a 1-minute extreme buy as well for extra confirmation. And it
Nice.
obviously blew past the TP. Like, I didn't take the extreme, but I got in later. But a lot of times those extremes line up with the kind of trades that you're taking.
Really? Maybe I should start putting that on my chart and just keeping an eye on it, because the thing is that the extremes, I've told you, those are not just levels, you know what I mean? It's based on CME margin
Oh, I know, it's
requirements. So
exactly. But I'm saying it's interesting how not all the time, but a lot of the times they line up
yeah,
where it sweeps the high or the low. That is actually an extreme area.
yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I put the 1-minute and 5-minute alerts on, and the win rate is like 75 to 80%. I don't take them all, but it is interesting how this extra confluence.
Yeah.
But I'm like Darren, I wish I would have held that buy on. Look at that way up. I mean, how many points was that thing? Like 580. Like you would have had 120 points.
Oh yeah. Shoot, I mean, just from the swing low to the high is 270 right now.
I know.
That one buy that we were eyeballing here, that it was the entire range of the New York session from high to low, because we're only watching the highs and the lows, and so we went from we made a new low, we made a new high.
I got the first
A good
100 points
Friday.
of that move.
Same.
Well,
Nice.
you
And
don't want to
then
break those consistency rules and win too much, right?
Oh yeah, that would be horrible, wouldn't it?
yeah.
Hate when that happens. Yeah, I got exactly 121 points off of it. I told you.
Yeah, like this look like.
Go ahead.
No, I said it looked like the market is not trying to make up his mind on what direction it wants to go for the rest of the day. We got 2 minutes to 10 o'clock.
Yeah, give it till 10 o'clock and see if they pull the trigger. See if they pull the trigger on it, because that's what they like to do. Wait till 10 o'clock. But if I go look at order flow, let's see. What do we got? We've got net selling across both micro and mini versions. So overall, we have aggressive selling for the entire day, from the beginning, from yesterday when it reset till now. We have net aggressive selling in Delta. So there's a lot more, like a lot more, over 3,000 contracts over, in like the sellers. Like if you were to look at all the contracts, and there were this many buyers and this many sellers, there's a total positive. I don't know how what I'm trying to say, but there's 3,000 more contracts now, 4,000 on NQ there's 14,000 on MNQ. So it's like there's a whole lot more selling, but you see how price isn't actually
Yeah.
pushing down aggressively like you would think. And so normally when you see something like that, where you can see cumulatively delta is selling and price is not rewarding those sellers, it means somebody's sitting there buying and scooping it all up, buy limits, and they will buy into into the sellers that are selling. And so they'll basically buy everything that they're willing to sell, and then when they're ready, bam, they'll lift it off. So that seems pretty typical. I mean, we're at a low. Yes, we could go lower, but there's 10 o'clock. We'll see. We got
Yeah.
divergence trying to set up between NASDAQ and ES. They're making lower lows. What's ES doing? Let's see. Well, it's measuring it like that. That's how it's measuring it. So however it identifies divergence, it's identified it.
So Ken, let me ask you this. So is it true that like NASDAQ, the ES is really kind of the leader and NASDAQ kind of follows ES directionally, or am I correct in saying that or no?
Yeah, they call so ES is kind of the boss, but you have to remember that NASDAQ there's 500 stocks in ES, while there's only 100 stocks in
100.
NASDAQ, and while there's 30 stocks in YM. And
Yeah. Right.
yes, ES is the leader, but NASDAQ tends to move quicker. So NASDAQ a lot of times will move first, and then ES will so it's like this, like they will always fall in line together, but a lot of times NASDAQ will make the move first, and that's where there will be some divergences, right? And so when you see those divergence, where one's going up, one's going down, a lot of times people, it's called SMT, right? That's what people call it on the internet. I don't even know what that stands for, but it's just straight up. A simple way to understand it is you have NASDAQ making higher highs and higher lows, and maybe ES is make a higher high, but it's got a lower, lower, something like that. And so when those things happen, it gets people looking at it and focusing on it, and especially if it's in the same direct, like if it's in the overall direction. So yeah, so ES is the boss, but just know that NASDAQ is typically going to move first. So you could look at ES and say, okay, on the big picture, what's it doing? And then, and then say, all right, it's doing that. And so I'm going to look for, on the big picture, ES is, I'm bullish on it. So that means that you're going to look for buys on NASDAQ, and you would expect it to move first. And then if you could, if there's anything that you could add into there, like divergence and things like that, then you definitely want to add that type of stuff in.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
So Ken, do you think it's going to head back down to the 600 level?
Oh no, man, it's so sideways right now. Back down to the 600. Looking. Let me put my big chart up here. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like if it's going down to 600, it's going lower. I don't think it's just going to go visit 600 unless it was like a quick volume test down there to see if there's any new, people that would want to trade. I don't see any, like I see some liquidity sitting down at 600 on the dot at 600, but there's so much liquidity. I mean, if you go here and you look at this, what you're looking at on the side of my screen, these are pending orders, right? Pending limit orders. Look at the difference. Look down here. Like let's just strictly do this. You see how this looks? Now look at how this looks. You see the difference?
Okay.
You see the difference? So there's a lot of liquidity up there. Um it's just a lot of liquidity, and it's bigger, right? It's bigger amounts. So I don't know. I feel like I feel like this was like a sweep, and I feel like if it was to go back down here, then we may end up even going lower than that. I don't know though. My predictable areas have all already been tested and traded. It's I typically have a few zones in the morning that are that are like typical reaction zones. This they've all been hit. So we traded this one, we traded this one, and we traded this one. So if I get rid of everything like this, that leaves us in regards to predictable places that I had prior to the session. That leaves this area here, and I didn't really look at things below here because now we'd be working off of new stuff. Now, yeah, we got volume zones down here, and we got overnight lows from the previous something from way back here. So
connection lost.
Uh-oh. Y'all hear me?
Oh,
Can y'all hear me?
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, if it does end up down here, we're probably going all the way down here. All of these levels will probably get swept at that point. And
Connection
I'd say,
lost.
oh man, scary. I don't like that noise. I don't like her voice. All right, so these would be the next areas that I'd really be thinking about, but at some point we'd have to convince ourselves to change our bias and go and join the bears, because are we going to just sit there and watch it go all the way down there, or could we find opportunity to get in? It just changes everything up, and it makes for a lot of decision making and a lot of thinking, and I don't like to do that mid session. I like to identify areas that I want to trade and then let price come to them and then trade them. See, at this point, I'd be reanalyzing and let me do this. Let me check order flow. I spend about 30 minutes in the morning looking at the charts and identifying these zones to see if I'm happy with them. To do that on the fly, to do that on the fly is like, I could do it, but I'd prefer not to,
It'll make sense.
But this doesn't require any thinking up here. This was already a zone that I was interested in, and we could see why. You ready? Okay. It's go ahead and start the car. It's overnight highs, Asian session, all the highs are right there, and so this makes sense. Now, what makes me nervous about that is this, and that doesn't mean that I wouldn't take the trade, but I would definitely reduce my size on it because it's something clear. It's something that I know that happens sometimes when there's a volume level. Price will go through the zone. These are CME volume levels. I mean, they are significant, and so it's another idea. I don't have to think about it. I just know that if price reached this area, if I decided to trade it, I would use half of my size just because I can clearly see this volume area here. Now, just to add to that,
Is that the 900 level?
this is the 900 level right there. And
Okay.
but let me tell you, if it was like this, I'd go full size guaranteed. That would have then put us back like that would have put us back at like this. See that we had that there, right? We had that zone here, and so so it's the same thing. It repeats over and over. It's just a matter of doing it enough to where it's like, okay, I've seen this 1,000 times before. You know what I mean?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
It's kind of funny how it just went up and made, during their opening, it just went up and then immediately went into a range. It didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Well,
I guess that's maybe it's Friday. So.
It's Friday, and we are smack in the middle of a bunch of volume. And so you see in mentorship, I said like there's a ton of volume. I mean, I watch the open every single day forever, and I watch volume, and I can see what it looks like. And when I see something like this, for example, like this is MES, but it's the same thing. This was leading up to market open. Look at how many times the POC shifted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And we're talking about 3,700 micros, 3,800 micros at these price levels throughout the whole part of the day, and we're hugging VWAP. I mean, this is a trending days. you don't hug a VWAP. You know, on a trending day, you cross the VWAP, you touch it one time, you maybe pull back to it, and then you're out of there. But you don't sit there and chop back and forth on the VWAP over and over and over again. That's showing that somebody's, you know, trading that area. There, it's not a trend day. It doesn't mean it cannot change, but it gives you some context to go into the session with. So, you know, normally you pay attention. Normally, when we start our mornings, VWAP is really far away from current price. A lot of times, most times, in fact. And so price will be far away from VWAP. It's a great target. That's another thing that we, you know, that I like to add to it whenever I'm looking at, like I had this middle zone drawn in here right there. A lot of times, if I have a middle zone right in the middle of our trading, it's because that it's the POC. Um, and that's where the VWAP is going to be. So that's similar to yesterday. That's similar to yesterday where we see we had the POC running through here. So that's why we had the POC running through here, but also we had our London low right there and the POC was in it. And that's why I made this range much wider, because I was like, I got to include this POC area. And so, you know, you can see like that. I can see it on my chart. I just don't have it here on I didn't have it enabled, but you know, that's and this worked. Yes, it is worked great. It literally tick right to it and did its thing. You just show up, watch them, you know, show up and watch them and keep asking questions. That's the best way to learn about this stuff, is to just constantly get in there. And then the other thing too is, you know, something that you want to think about is exactly what I say with all of the other strategies that we have, is that you have phases to your strategy. If it's a new strategy to you, don't mix learning the strategy and building confidence with trying to get results, because the emotions that you're going to experience while trying to generate results will block you out from learning and actually retaining the information. You can't, you know, like imagine you're trying to learn geometry and you got a bear chasing you. Like, you're not going to, you're running down the, you're running through the woods and you got a bear chasing you, and you 1C3 plus, you know, you're not going to retain that information. But if you are calm, relaxed, observing. Imagine what it's like to calmly observe something. You can really retain some information if you're calmly observing it, and especially if you're narrating it. You're narrating it and you're saying, this is what I think should happen. I believe I've got the zones. I'm looking for this type of behavior at this place, or this certain type of reaction. And then bam, it happens. You can calmly observe it. A lot of I'd say 90% of people mix those two things together, and it causes them to actually not learn any lessons and get frustrated. They're getting all pissed off, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Been
All
there,
right.
man. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep. Oh yeah. I got to take my boy to school real quick. This is again the next zone that I was looking at. This 800 level is being heavily defended or traded right now. I don't know if it's defended or not, but look, another big reason I was looking at this level earlier, and I mean, just look at all the volume up here in these areas, starting from before. What is this? That's it. 733. What was it? It was on this one. So see, that was the 800 level right here. That's where I said, I bet we see some defense. It ticked it. It ticked the level and ran all the way to the low, ticked the other level, ran all the way back up. And now here we are. We have buy orders coming in, aggressive buy orders coming in right here. So you got to just look at it and say, well, are they being rewarded or not? Is price moving up? And you see, we've got aggressive buying, got a little flat buying here on the micro version. So just know that there's some trading happening here. Again, can't do much with it right now because we've already traded all of this. But if it keeps doing that, it's building up a lot of volume right there, and bink, maybe right up to the next area. If you see a lot of volume up there and price is failing to go up and it's failing to go down, that means it's being passively controlled. Aggressive buying or aggressive selling has to push price up or down unless it's unless it's being consumed by passive liquidity, and that's how they'll guide the market. So, just watch it. I'll be back. Take me about 10 minutes or so.
Hey Ray,
Yes, sir.
I was just gonna jump on what he was saying. Like I've been watching because I was doing zones and which still work great. Don't get me wrong, but I've been watching what he's been doing for weeks now and just observing it. And it's like I like the style so much better. It's like one or two trades, and I mean maybe three, but like I'm focused on like just only. And I think Cedric is switched over to this style of trading too a little while back, where it's just you're waiting on those extremes on the outer edges, right? I mean, he's got some that are in the middle, but like London high, London low, overnight high and low, and then he's front running those trades. Like he's not waiting for a confirmation on them because he can, those are just strong levels. And so I think yesterday was the only day that we didn't get one, but yeah, Monday,
Mhm.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and today all hit at least one of his levels. And there was and I'm, for me, like he's doing 25 points, 25 stop, 25 profit. I'm on those outer edges. Like I'm looking to I'm holding for 1 to 4, 1 to 5. I mean, today that sucker just kept going. I should have probably just trailed it, but so just looking for like one really good trade. And thing is, you could take stops, right? But when you're having risk to reward like that, it recovers like many losses at one time.
One
So,
time, yeah.
so yeah, keep an eye on what he's like. If you haven't been like, just watch what he's doing in those levels that he posts, because it's like those are really those areas. Like you said, every one of his areas hit today for at least that 1 to 1 that he likes to trade. So
Now you said when you say front load, you mean like let's say we're at the top of that level, and we're looking for it to go up there, tap in, reverse. You have let's say a sell limit sitting up there waiting,
exactly,
and then
exactly.
with your and you already got your TP and your stop loss already set within that
Yeah.
once you click the button. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have everything's pending. Or so, and I just kind of like I don't put anything in right away. What I do is I'm waiting to see what direction is it going to go first, so I know what's whether it's a high or a low that I need to put in. But today,
Right.
today it was like we had already hit the London high a few times before the U.S.
Mhm.
The New York Open. So I'm like, I don't even know if I want to mess with that. And it actually didn't get up there. It got close, but then it came down. It hit one of his first levels for a quick little bounce, and then as soon as I started seeing it coming down and getting closer down to that London low and that zone that he was looking at, that's when I put in my pending order. But like I was saying earlier, like I'm glad I listened to him, because had I just had it sit at the London low, I would have gotten taken out by just a little bit, and then it would have turned around and shot back up. So I
Yeah.
got to start watching those volume zones too, because those are when a volume zone is near, like say a higher low that I'm looking at, then it might be good just to wait for the volume zone. And sometimes you're gonna, sometimes it won't get there, and sometimes it will. But when it does, it's good. Like literally today, my stop was at, I think it was at, let's see, look at the chart. So the London low was around 620 ish.
Mhm.
But and I've been using the round levels, 25-point round levels that he uses a lot. And so I think my stop was at like five, was it 575, and it came down to like 578. It literally came with a few points. I was sitting there watching it going, man, please don't hit it. And then it just turned and ran. So um so those levels are good too. So
Yeah, because
Darren,
it's like we went up, we tapped the London high, but we didn't sweep the Asia high, and we came down. We did sweep the Asia low, and we swept the London low. So I wonder if we'll go back up and get that Asia high. I mean, who
yeah,
knows?
I think if I was still going to trade, I would probably wait for that one for a
Yeah,
level at the high, because that London's been tested a bunch of times now, and I think that one's like it may keep on hitting its head against it and dropping. I don't know, but I
right.
just wouldn't want to, after so many bounces off of level, you kind of start to wonder when's going to be the one that's going to break through it. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, like Ken was, if the level's already been tested, it's kind of it could still work. But I agree with Darren. With like for you, it was great. One trade today, $400. Yeah, you could have made more, but it's great. Like because you're done and it's stress free now, right? Like that's
yeah,
it.
100%. Like I'm so much more relaxed now because I'm not trying to trade every single setup and every. I'm just like before it was just, and I wasn't taking like absurd amounts of trades, but it was just certainly many times more than just one or two. So, I just this way I'm just patiently waiting for one of these levels, and if we get it, great. If we don't, then I'm done. And the other thing too is that I'd say 99% of the time, those things happen during that first hour when volume is high. You're going to get bigger moves. Like you got a better chance
Like
of
the
stuff.
first 15, 10 minutes, actually.
Well, yeah, today I could have gone back to bed a half hour ago. So,
I,
um,
I
but
agree.
yeah,
I take a lot of trades, a lot of small trades. I have a really high win rate on them. But sometimes I get one or two trades that get away from me, and then I take kind of a big hit. I would
mhm,
much prefer to take one or two like really good trades. Um, I don't know. There's something in me. I see what I consider a decent setup with where you have the TV blast and then the quantum and the cumulative delta all lining up and it's trending. So I'll jump in, take a bit of profit. But yeah, I think if you do one or two good trades, you're done. It's stress free. Even though you could take more, once you actually step away from the computer, you feel good about yourself.
mhm, yeah, yeah. I'm good with being done right now for sure. Like it's just, and the other thing too is that and I mentioned this to Ken on our 101 is that my goal has always been like to not indicators are awesome and Ken's got some of the best ones out there, but I don't want to be dependent on indicators. I want to get better at like what's the market telling me, what level should I be looking at? It's like this area of interest stuff that we talk about a lot. And then, at some point here, I just haven't had the budget to do it, but like I want to add like an addis and get the level of insight that Ken can see, and be able to watch, what order flow's doing, and where all these limit
I,
orders are sitting and all that stuff. Like that's where I want to get to as a trader because then like I don't have to have really much of anything on my charts. I just watch some of those levels and when it gets near them, and especially if you're watching order flow and things are looking good, like that's the stuff that I want to get better at. So,
I agree. The thing that I find is everybody has their own setup they're familiar and they like, but then adding order flow, like it's another thing, not that distracts you, but it's like you're dividing your attention too thin unless you're really good at it. You know what I mean? It's
mhm,
kind of like, oh my God, it's like another thing, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's the thing is as little as as few of things you're trying to like take in, right, to make a decision. I mean, because I think I don't know. Certainly, I know I've been there. I know a lot of traders have been there. But when you first start, like, there's just like lines everywhere. There's you got 1,000 indicators on your chart, and you're like, it's just like analysis paralysis. It's like you can't really make a good decision on that. So simplifying is where I want to is where I want to be as well. So, but I really since I started like just really paying attention to what he's doing. I'm still learning, obviously, but like I know enough now to like even if Ken wasn't here for whatever, I'm not going to win them all, but like just watching those levels alone.
Yeah.
Now the CME data, like that's stuff that we can only get from him. I would have to find out how to get that
Well,
data,
I
but
mean, eventually you could find out how to get it.
yeah,
I
exactly.
really, I mark up my CME levels that he provides every day because they're excellent targets.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I had put them on there for a while, and then I just was like, okay, there's too much stuff on my charts, and I wasn't using them that much. But now, like, I'm gonna be putting them back on religiously from here on out because, like today, like when there is one near a level that we were looking at and entering at, but it's say, for example, today was like below that London low. Like you're better off just waiting to see if it gets there and maybe maybe you miss it. I mean, even Ken said that. He's like, I may miss that London low entry, which initially it did bounce off that, and it did hit, I think, a 25 point. So he would have had a winner, but then it came back down again, and it did come back down to that volume level, and that was a perfect entry. And so, I mean, I barely survived that, but thankfully I've been using these 25 point stops, but I've been using the round levels to guide me. So today just worked out really well, but a lot of them do. I mean, I see a lot of them go for more than the 25. Like, like I said earlier, like
Yeah.
1 to
Oh
3, 1
yeah.
to 4, 1 to, I mean,
Today
today
was
was like
crazy.
today was 1 to 8, I think, or even more than that. But
But when you're half, let's say you're up like $200-300, and then it's obviously doesn't go straight up. There's little bits of up and down, up and down. When it
right,
starts going down, I'm like, I should get out and take the profit. But like that's where the TV blast and the quantum, you can even drop down. I drop down to
yep,
the 30-second, and hey, if those are both solid green, you just stay in.
yeah, 100%. Well, and if you look at today, so because quantum, if you use the trailing, you turn on the trailing stop on quantum, like you still would have had. It was almost, by the time it came back and hit it, it was like almost, it was like 1 to say 3.5, let's call it. Um, but granted, it went up as high as 1 to 8. But you could have. I think one of the things that I'm trying to pay attention to is that when it's just on a 1 minute chart, it's just moving. Like, don't it, just ride it. As long as those
Mhm.
bars keep staying green like that, if it kind of like goes up and then it kind of pulls back and then it goes up a little bit more and does that kind of thing, then yeah, maybe just exit with a 1 to 3, 1 to 4, something like that. But when it's like today, I should have just, coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? But I'm just trying to learn from these things. Is that just trailing the stop every 1 to 1 that you get on the thing. So it's like when it hits, as soon as it hits like 1 to 2, I'm like, okay, I'm going to break even. And then, in a day like today, you could have, like, when it hits 1 to 3, go to 1 to 2. When it hits 1 to 4, go 1 to 3, and so on and so forth. You would have hit like a 1 to 7
Yeah.
probably, or so. It's like, and I don't want to be greedy either, but like if it's running, then why not, take as much out of it as you can. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what I
but
find exciting as a lot of people here are becoming more consistent to get profits, and it doesn't have to be big, 50 to $100 or, even 2, 300, but
yeah,
getting consistent, thinking about the big picture, the ultimate goal, 20 accounts, $100 or $200 a day. That's
100%, yeah,
that's what motivates me, and I think a lot of people is like, right now, even if you don't have payouts or whatever, but if you're getting consistent, it's just a matter of time. That's it. Before your 20 accounts.
yeah, and that's
There's a
the thing that I
saying
always
that
try to.
is a little by little equals a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, and I think
No.
I think a lot of us need it. The problem is that we want to get past the eval super fast, but then in the back of our mind, we know that when we have 20 accounts, like you said, 50 or $100 a day, you're making a damn good living, right? So I try to keep the big picture in mind to help me stay patient, because when I do have 20 accounts, then I'm gonna be a lot more conservative. Probably, I mean, I'm not being too aggressive right now, but I'm gonna probably be even more. I might even take as much profit. I may take a 1 to 1 or 1 to 2 and be like, okay, I'm done. I just made $2,000 today, or $4,000
Well,
today, or whatever.
exactly. Like instead of making
Um,
$100, you made 2,000.
exactly, exactly. So, and that adds up real quick. And I think anybody who's in here for any period of time and listens to Ken and learns from him and stuff, and making 50 to $100 every day it should be pretty easy for, I think, most of us to do. And
Well, I
not
think you
it's not,
need to make minimum 50 as, for the Tradeovate rules if
yeah,
you're
you need
using
5 days.
Tradeovate.
5 days. Yeah,
Yeah,
five
so
days of that. Yeah.
but $50 a day is not hard. I mean,
Yeah.
No, it's just getting past the evaluations and then getting past the psychological level on the eval.
yeah,
Once you pass
I
it.
personally YOLO them. I don't know. That's my style. Like I said, if I buy out of 5 evals, I can pass 3, and each of them only take me like 20 minutes. I mean, it's because I just go crazy. I just do max lots and ride a trend, and I either win or lose, and that's it. I just look at them as cheap things. Now, once I'm in a PA account, obviously I don't do that. I'm literally trading 1 micro, sometimes
Mhm.
2.
We just hit the overnight high.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah, that
yeah,
was
look
it.
at
Yeah,
that.
we just hit the Asian high, and look, it's coming back out. Well, let's see if it goes past it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here.
Yeah,
See, in this
I was in the,
situation,
in
yep,
the,
here it comes.
I was in a buy, but my take profit was too tight.
You know, I had on
Uh,
my first trade today on Tradeovate, once again, when I went to exit, I was clicking that button and it took about 3 seconds before it closed. Now my other trades have worked, but God, that makes me nervous when that happens.
yeah. Yep, here we go. So far, so good.
We
We're
got
just
an
watching this
extreme,
stuff.
extreme, 1 minute. Oh, well, it just set up, it disappeared,
Well,
but
there's 50 points right there.
Yep,
Or sorry,
man. I see.
20 points. Sorry, not 50, 20.
So let me ask you: do you set your, as soon as the wick crosses the line? Is that when you click your sell? Like in this case, to do a
Oh
sell
no, I would
stop?
if I was going to trade that level, I would have had my sell limit
pending.
already there, a pending order
Okay.
already loaded, and and I trade on Trading View, so I have
Yeah.
my stop loss and my TP. Usually with my TP, man, I just drag it way far away, because I'm gonna plan on watching it. But I also too I set up my I set up my fib tool so
Hmm.
that it shows it's like it shows like every, for example, well, if I'm doing a 25 point stop, then it'll do every 25 points basically. And so I can see 1 to 1, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4. I can see where I am on that very easily. So as soon as I'm in the trade, I'll draw that on just so I can have a guide as to, because my goal is to get to like a 1 to 4 if I can. And then I
Yeah.
also I look at that quantum to trail it. And so, um, but yeah, so that's how it would work. Now, see, this is one too where, again, if you we go about what we were talking about earlier, like it just hit a volume level, so it,
Right.
it actually it took out that
Yeah, and I just
11
made
high.
$100 on that volume.
Yep,
Man.
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, so you would have your limit order sitting up there. As soon as it taps in, you already got your take your stop loss set, and so and then once it turns around, you just catch it on the way back out for like 25 pips, or I mean 25 ticks.
yeah. That's the way that Ken does it. I
Yeah.
for me personally, like I hold it.
Okay.
Because I'm looking for, especially during that first. I mean, like Matt was saying, I mean, today was the first 15 minutes. Like it came down, it hit that low, and it just bounced, and it was like the move. The move is done, right? I mean, now
Mhm.
granted, it can, anything can happen at any time of day. I mean, it could be, you know, 2 p.m. Eastern, and suddenly you get some big move off of a level that could happen. But I think the first hour, which we just finished, is like that's when most of this stuff happens. That's when most of the volume's
Yeah.
here, and most of the volume is in. So that's when I'm looking to try and get in and get
And
out and be done.
it takes a little bit of courage to do a buy when you're looking at the
Oh,
1 minute candles and it's super strong sell. Everything is pointing to sell.
yeah,
Even though
yeah,
you're coming to that level, you're like, gosh, damn, like I'm gonna buy, but this is trending down.
Yeah,
yeah,
and that's what was killing
100%.
me yesterday. I'm sitting there watching it go down, 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 and I'm steadily trying going against the trend. And when I entered, it reverses and goes back down. So yeah, but I mean, I live to trade another day. So I
Yeah,
just want to get
yeah.
better
No,
at that.
Well, that's why they're low risk setups too, right? You have a small stop loss.
Yeah.
well, I think if you're going to try and fight the trend, um, you're better off doing it at those extreme levels. That we've been talking about with London high, London low, session high, or overnight high and low, like Asia, all that. Like pick those because, but I agree with you, Matt. Like it was like there was a couple times this week where I was watching these levels that Ken had, and I'm like, dude, price is just dropping down into it or running up into it. I'm like, this thing, is it really going to stop there? Like it just didn't, and it stopped every time, man. Like I am not questioning his levels ever again, and not all, and he's not going to get them every single time, but these levels, like I'd say in the 90 percentile, like are winning at least a 1 to 1, and so it's like it's crazy the way it stops on those. But like today, it was dropping, and had turned around. You know, like
Connection
it's
lost.
crazy.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Hey,
Hey, we're singing your praises,
All right.
Ken.
Connection lost.
Oh man,
connection lost.
I know that. Has it been doing that this whole time?
No, this
All
is
right.
just
No.
now.
Until you came back.
All right.
Literally when you came back.
Okay, that's crazy. All right, we hit that level. It looked like it pulled off of it a little, but I don't think that we got the whole 25. Let me look.
I don't think it got 25. It got like
It,
20 or
it
maybe
didn't hit it.
22.
It went to 896.75.
Oh yeah, it
So
got 21 points off of it. Yeah. Oh yeah, but look, I mean, shoot, if you look at the synchronized buying across almost everything right now, I'm not surprised. That consolidate. Look at this, you guys. Hold on. Look at all these big giant orders inside of here. This is abnormal, right? And everything's chat, 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 chat. They built a big position there. This is either a fake out or it's going to continue to go up. Look at these Titan after Titan after Titan. I know the filters are going to filter those out, but I could still see them. That's a lot of volume though. That's kind of crazy.
Hey, Ken, as it relates to the Titan,
Yeah.
in your best opinion, is it better to take those in the direction of the trend if we're in a trending market?
I'll tell you what I tell every single person is this. When you get the Titan, don't mix results with confidence building. So everybody has one goal when they first start with STS, with mentorship. If you want to get it right and you want to get it right the first time, because we can go around and around in circles. You know what I mean? We could do that forever. But if you want the direct path to success, you go into STS, you watch an indicator video or all of them. Watch them all. Decide which one resonates with you. Something's going to stick with you. If nothing sticks with you, I'm going to automatically recommend Titan or something like that. So now you physically understand the strategy and you mentally understand the strategy. You can physically execute on the strategy and you mentally understand the strategy. It's at that point you want to keep it as simple as possible. Don't try to take the weight of being successful. That belongs to the strategy. So what you need to do is just understand the strategy and then just go take 100 trades. Don't worry about location, don't worry about trend, don't worry about EMAs, don't worry about trailing. Don't worry. You need to focus on your entry, your stop loss, and your take profit. Trading the strategy exactly the way that it was designed. Exactly. Because you need to know, does this strategy work for me? You'll never know that if you constantly add this, that, this, da, 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 you know what I mean? So, which is what everybody does. If I could figure out a way to stop people from doing that, then they would be a lot better off early on. But I say this over and over. So you've got to go through that yourself. Now, take 3 trades a day, 4 trades, 5 trades a day. I don't care. You just need to focus strictly on execution. You can take 10 trades a day as long as you're executing perfectly. Right now, your goal is not, if you're not getting payouts right now, if you haven't gotten payouts or if you're not getting payouts or you're still working on evaluation or whatever, right now, your only goal is to build confidence in the strategy. And so you can go and you take your trades. And then once you have perfectly executed the trades and you can come to me and say, Ken, I understand the strategy. I'm very confident in it. I'm very good at it, actually. I'm very good at the strategy. Results aside, we don't care about results right now. We need to see, one, do you even have the discipline to stick to this? Do you have the discipline to stick to the strategy or not? Because if you don't even have enough discipline to stick to 100 trades without changing it, you're never going to make it to any other stage in trading. That's facts, 100%. So you're proven you're creating new habits. One, you're breaking old habits, and you're proving that does the strategy work. You're actually knocking out like 3 birds in 1 stone by doing this. And so you that's what you got to do. Don't add nothing to it. Don't remove anything from it. Just strictly trade the strategy. Now, once you have your first batch of results and you come to me with confidence, say, man, I did a really good job executing. regardless of the results could be good, bad, or break even. We don't know yet. And so once you have those results, then we could say, all right, we could say, let's look at the results. I have the analyzer, right? So I can break down your results and I can say, okay, based on what you did, this is what your results are. Can we improve it by simply adding some structure to it? If we just add some structure to it and that fixes the problem, great. That fixes the problem. If we and then I'm gonna send you back out there and go do it again, and let's see if this holds up over time, right? And so, and most likely it will be at that point. If we can't change or structure your trading plan in any other way that makes you profitable, then at that point, that's when I'm gonna say, all right, we need to focus on something else. That's where we'll introduce location, trend, this or that, but we don't actually know what you need to add to your trading plan until we see some consistent results, which requires consistent trading the same way over time. So, that's the real and true only way to build success in trading, is like that. So I wouldn't worry about adding anything or thinking about the trend or doing anything. Just plan on showing up and taking every single trade you see, because what happens is you're going to want to be able to duplicate that, right? You're going to want to be able to duplicate that. Let's say you do what I say to do right here, and you go take 100 trades, and let's just say it takes you 20 days. Just as an example, you go take 100 trades and it takes you 20 days, and you're profitable. And I say, oh, okay, this is cool, this is perfect. Now, let's see if we run it through the analyzer and we can squeeze some more profit out of it. Boom, we find out we can. You want to know with confidence that you can go and execute like that again and duplicate that again, right?
Right.
So it's all about building confidence, but everybody does results first, and they just think oh, if I get the results, everything's going to take care of itself. You've got to have confidence in your strategy, or else you'll never ever stick to it. And so that's what I'm trying to get people to do, is just stick to their strategy long enough to build the confidence in it. Does that make sense?
Okay.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So just keep it really, really, really simple. The more, a lot of times people ask me, they'll be like, okay, well, hey, should I add this? Should I add that? And this and that. And I'm like, no, don't do that. But, don't do anything. We want to save that stuff for later, because, that's like you looking at something, like you're looking at a car, like you're about to buy a car, and you're like, does the car work? And the guy's like, yeah, it works. And you're like, well, I'm probably going to go ahead and buy a new transmission, and I'm going to need some new blinkers. You haven't ever even tried to see if these things work or not. You're trying to add something to something that you don't actually know if it actually works or not yet. So it's premature, essentially. We just want to do things, we just want to do things the right way, the logical way. And the most important thing is it's got to be duplicatable, where you can do this over again later.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, that's good. That's good. That's good. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
So yeah, just to fully recap and make sure that we're totally clear. So right now, if I promise you, the most direct path is just, if you're doing the Titans, stick to just strictly do the Titans. If you're going to do this other stuff, see, because this is where people start getting overwhelmed. They might have a bad day with Titans, so then they say, I see everyone winning with this, let me try this. Well, you don't know how long everybody's been doing that, right? I've been doing this for many, many years. So, but it's not a new strategy to me. I already have confidence in it. And so now you mix that strategy, and you got this strategy, and you're like, oh, they also use the zones. I see them winning off of the zones. So then you add the zones. Then you know what you do? You reach out to me and you say, Ken, I'm so overwhelmed. You have so many indicators. I don't know what to do. That, I hate to say it, you guys, that's your fault. Like, I didn't tell you to load 3 indicators on there. You did that because you made the decision based on your results that you have way too early on. So you're doing it to yourself. There's no way to be overwhelmed with this. You calmly observe, like I was talking about earlier. You sit down. Step 1, execution. practice. Can I trade this strategy? Let me see what happens if I execute the strategy, not let me go make $1,000 or 2,000, 10,000. I know that we want to do that. and that part will come, just like people go to school, and then they plan on getting a job afterwards and they're going to make the money, but they know they got to go through the process first. Consider that same time gap with trading. Like, all right, I got to just accept it. I've got to put 30 days in, or 60 days, whatever, of strictly execution, just focused execution. And if you can keep the results out of your mind for now, that will help a lot. And I was talking on a one-on-one yesterday with somebody, and I told them that if they'll set milestones for their trading instead of for their results, like a lot of people are like, okay, first I want to pass an evaluation, second I want to get funded, or I want to get a payout, and third I want to get another account. Yeah, that sounds really good. I bet that sounds real nice. Like, I bet everyone would really enjoy that perfect process. But you need to break those goals down into much smaller goals. Like, one day I followed my strategy. Congratulations, you stuck to it. Day 2, I also stuck to my strategy. That's a huge milestone. Look at me. I'm creating discipline. Day 3, wow, 3 days I showed up, and regardless of the results, I executed. That's a big milestone. I can see that I'm changing. 1 week in, I'm a totally different trader. All these bad habits that I had, I can see that they're leaving me and that I'm adopting new habits. I'm becoming a different person. You evolve as a person, and then your trading will follow, right? And that's why they say trading is a reflection of you, and your results are going to be a reflection of you as well. So work on yourself, work on your discipline, and break your money goals down into smaller goals, and try to celebrate the process and execution instead of I made some money, I did this, I did that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
Yeah, man, because it's definitely been an eye-opening experience.
Yeah.
It's for real. I mean, yeah, I mean, really, I mean, honestly, I mean, prayerfully and everything. I'm like, man, I'm like, I've even like, man, is there something wrong with me?
No, it's just because you're looking at everyone else, and it's easy to get caught up in the mix. And that's what I'm here for, is to tell you not to do that. You've got to work on yourself. And look, I'm not, there's nothing different about me from you. You know what I mean? I'm a regular guy just like you. I don't have a special power. I don't have anything like that. I just took the time to build confidence. That's why I am passionate about telling you guys to do the same thing, because that's what worked for me. I can only tell
Yeah,
you what worked for me. I can't just tell you some made up stuff. I can only tell you what worked for me. And if it worked for me, I'm the way that I am. I do things very mechanical. So that's perfect for what I do here in teaching, because that means that if I can do it in a mechanical way, you could do it in a mechanical way. I win trades and I lose trades. I focus on low risk, and so when I lose, I try to lose small. When I win, I try to win, and I typically have predefined things set out. If I was doing nothing but using Titans, then I would use Titans, and I'd follow a trade plan. I myself would use my own experience to decide where I would take Titans at, and I already know where I liked it. That's what I like about Titans, is that when they pop up in a zone, like there's a Titan right here. This is a Titan. Now, see, I filtered everything out because people were over trading, but this is a Titan right here. Red, green, red. If I put the Titan on here and I got rid of the filter, that's a Titan right here at a key level that I'd be more than happy to trade. So do I need the Titan for that? No. Would it be nice to get an alert that has my risk management built in, and it has my contract size, and everything is structured in a way to where I know exactly how much I could lose and exactly how much I would make? Yeah, that'd be pretty nice. Invented the Titan, and so that, so what you're asking about is location. That's some stuff that we'll work on later when and if needed,
right. Okay.
but by the time you stay disciplined long enough to take your 100 trades, you're literally creating a new habit. It normally takes, 3 to 4 weeks to take 100 trades, unless you're going crazy. So you're going to develop new trading habits. Everything, the first thing that you're going to notice, and this I'm pretty sure about this because this is what people tell me all the time, is everything slows down. Wow, everything is much easier to observe, and it's easier. I'm not so overwhelmed, and I don't feel so stressed. Everyone's in such a hurry to get to the money when they first join here, and if I can just get them to slow down and say, hey, look, you already been doing this for years, like let's like don't come to me like a freaking crack addict, like you gotta do the money, like you've been working on this for years. Don't come to me and let's calmly approach this and create some success here. It's crazy sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Ken, I have a question.
Yeah.
Um, do you like? There's a lot of people here, like such as Darren, myself. We've traded forex for years and probably developed bad habits. Do you find people that are brand new have faster or more success right off the bat because they don't have any bad habits when you're kind of mentoring them?
It goes two ways. So yes, a fresh person never traded before, I love to work with them, but that doesn't prevent them. I beg them, don't go down that road. Don't go down that road. Don't go down that road. I've seen thousands of people do it. Don't go down that road. Don't go on the internet. Don't look up a fair value gap. Don't do this. Don't do that. If they listen to me, they find success quickly because they allow me to help them shape their habits early on. But if they just
Yeah.
say, I'm going to figure it out myself, Ken gave me enough information to start getting curious, and then they start looking at all these other places, then you lose them right away. They go into the same place. So
Oh wow.
it all depends on, and that's the thing though, is it doesn't matter if you're new or if you're experienced. It's the decision to take control of your actions and your discipline and your mind. And that's why I know a new trader can make it, and I know an experienced trader can make it, but it starts with them and their commitment to discipline. I hate saying that freaking word. I hate saying discipline because it's so used up in the space. Traders are disciplined, but it's literally just, it really is that. And y'all know, you guys know because we've had the conversation and you've been trading. So like, you do know by now the discipline, but it's not like the canned up discipline. Like it's the discipline to stick to your strategy and deal with the emotions and not push that button. And, just those little emotional pulls that you get. Once you can master that, then you can trade. And and then obviously everyone talks about patience, but that is a big one. Patience, you only need enough patience to focus on execution first and results later. If you can get that, you're also good. Yeah, I've
And
seen
like I had said, according to Matt's law, that the market came back to the
yeah.
session open price again.
Yeah, it's right back at VWAP now.
Well, it's going up a little bit, but
Yeah.
look at that. It came right back down to that.
Oh yeah. And let's see where
It does that so many times.
7:30. Let's see. Make sure I'm on Phoenix. Yeah, it sure did. Right back to it. Oh yeah, I forgot I was looking at this. See, this is Friday. Let me check something out here. Wednesday. Friday. I don't know. I'm not convinced that we're done for the day, though, you guys. I mean, I guess they could leave it. I guess they could leave it like this, but what I think was this was just I think this was a trap, I think this is a big trap. Here, let me go back to NQ. I think this is a big trap just to get more. You got to think about these big traders that now it's Friday, so I could just be blowing smoke right now, but who knows if they're really positioning this hard right now. But okay, so you got to think about these guys are placing 10,000 contracts, 20,000, 50,000 contracts. They can't do that, right? They cannot do that without getting traders involved, other traders. They need liquidity for that type of stuff. And they also can't place it all at one place because they'll move the price. It wouldn't be good if they bought and price instantly shot up or down. That wouldn't be any good either. So they layer it throughout here, right, in little slices. And so I believe that that's what a lot of this is, all throughout this whole area from here. I mean, look at this, is really arranged, this whole thing. But obviously, this area here, we already seen this. I mean, and if we actually look at this, we can also clearly see key areas where they're buying, they're trading, right? And now all of a sudden price shoots up to here. I feel like, all right, so imagine you need liquidity. Maybe you're planning on selling and you need a lot
Connection
of,
lost.
maybe you're planning on selling and you need a lot of buyers. Well, how would you get buyers? You'd break out, right? You'd break out and everyone would start buying, and then bam, you slam it down. All those buyers are now trapped, right? And the whole time they're buying, they're selling, right? They're layering in sell positions. They could have been layering in sells here, they could have been layering in sells there, and then bam, they slam it down. Right? Or just clearing it out. I don't know what else that would be the reason for that. So when it started pushing up here, at one point I said, I wonder if this is just a trap to push up. It does that a lot, and now it's sure enough, it's right back at VWAP, which is where I'm seeing a lot of positions being added. We're staying on top of VWAP, but I don't know. I don't feel like this move is over yet. I feel like we've still got some stuff. Whether it'll go up or down, I'm not too sure. But yeah. I feel like with all the trading that we've seen here, we should see a lot more movement than this. This ain't nothing. This is nothing. This little move out of there, that's nothing for all that.
And on the volume levels, you have a lot of them red, and then like 24,950 is green. Does that mean that has a higher amount of volume?
Okay, I'm back. I was eating.
Oh.
No. So CME, the way that the data comes through, it's enough to where you can actually like decipher between like long and short contracts. So those are what this is what this is showing here is that these are sells, right? These are essentially sells. You'd consider, it's kind of weird how I'm doing it, but you'd think, well, look, raw data, these are selling positions. That's what these are. Okay. Raw data, these are selling positions. These are buying positions. If you have two of them, it's because it's mixed. You have buys and sells at that level. That's really, I mean, that's the easiest way to really look at it. And so now I don't tell people that very often because I don't want you to, you could imagine where people are going to go with that right away. As soon as
it hit this level, I'm going to sell because it's red.
Now, hey, today it looks great for that, right? But look, it didn't work right here. See, and so this data is also not updated intraday. So this is data as of the close of yesterday. That's the most up to date. You can't get better, faster, quicker data. This is anybody and everybody, unless you're somebody that I don't know. This is the best data you can get. And so it's at the end of the day, it's up, it's the most live positioning, if you will. It's kind of like, how I used to pull the COT report and I'd show you, positioning based on weekly, right? That was the best, most up-to-date information you could get, in regards to COT data. But this is daily directly from CME. And so, so that's, and that again, you see the reason why you may not always see what you may not always see selling right at that level is because what I talk about with the gamma hedging, where, people that are you know, they may have calls or puts at these levels here, and we're talking about options. They're anticipating the price stays below these levels, right? And that's not the only thing that goes into this, but that's part of it. So what'll happen is as price gets closer to these levels, they become exposed at more risk, right? And so they will start hedging futures against their own options bet. And so what that looks like is as price is approaching one of these levels, they'll, you know, they make money if price stays below it. But because price is getting closer, it's called gamma, and they will start to hedge, which means they'll buy futures to offset the potential loss, and that creates what's called a pinning effect, and that's where price will, it's not right on the zone, but it'll, you know, it'll do basically what it's doing right here right now. It'll do that kind of stuff. And so I think that when you have a lot of levels like this, by, you know, the days where we have a lot of levels like this, it typically ends up like this. We're just stuck in here. On day, you know, some days it's not like this though. Some days you load up the chart and these zones are clear on the outside, and that's perfect. That's, you know, that's what we want to be able to use those as targets. But yeah, when you're in here, and this gets hard.
Hey, Ken, with those volume levels, is there a way without going back into the settings on the indicator to actually just delete some of them off the chart? I could have sworn I saw you do this like a day or two ago. The reason why I'm asking is because I'm assuming that those volume levels, like with a lot of things you do, we would prefer to look at areas that are untested, right? So when we come in New York session and it's already crisscrossed through a bunch of them, but there's, you know, some at the top and some at the bottom that haven't been tested yet. Those are the levels that we really would probably want to pay more attention to. Is that a fairly accurate statement?
Yeah, it is. There's two options. One option would be slightly modify the indicator to where when, you know, when a candle closes through, you know, a level maybe one or two times, I could automatically hide it. And it would just be an option of hide tested zones, or
Yeah,
you
like the trading zones are.
right, or you'd have to go in and you'd have to remove, you would just search for 24,800, so that, you know,
Okay.
it'd be
And
kind
for
of
whatever
hard.
reason, I thought you. Yeah, no, I thought for some reason you like clicked on the zones and you were deleting them the other day, and maybe maybe it was something different. I don't know, but so okay, that's cool. I
Yeah,
just didn't know that. Okay, got
no
it.
worries.
All good.
Cool. All right, well, guys, and anyone have any other questions? Do I hear somebody?
Yeah. One quick question. Still learning, of course. Always going to be learning. Didn't take a trade this morning because my Titan signal didn't show up until just now. Would that be correct? Or over time, I was just using the 3-candle pattern, like a red, green, red, or vice versa.
Yeah, let me
Even
see.
if you don't have an indicator showing up, you know, would that be a safe trade to make, or just have to keep an eye on it?
I got you. So, all right, yeah, looking at the chart, the only signal that we got during the session with the filters on Titan was on NQ, regular NQ. That was before the session, but this one did win. But that was before the session. And then there was one more, and this one did win. There has been no other Titans since then. Now, what you're saying, red, green, right? Yes, you could
Yeah.
do that, but you might as well, if you're going to do that, then you could just turn the filters off. You could just turn the filters off, and then now you have, the Titan is going to identify all of them for you, see? There was a lot of
Oh,
signals.
okay.
There was a lot of signals. You just have to go in and turn the filter off. So, you know, just know that, you know, turning the filter off, it's going to give you access to a lot more trades.
Yeah,
You just stick to them. It's fine. You stick to them. Hopefully you heard what I was talking with Ray about earlier, you know, and just your job right now is just very, very consistent execution. And then me and you will get together and I will look at every single trade you took. And the most important thing is that you executed correctly. And then we can build on top of that. So you're kind of laying down the foundation right now.
Okay.
So,
All right. Thank
so
you.
look, just to make sure you're clear, what you
Okay.
do is you can open up, you go to Titan like this, click on the settings icon and then just go in
Yeah.
here and just disable the filters. You could try one or you could try both of them, right? This is a volume filter. It's gonna it does make a difference, right? So with the volume filter, without the volume filter, you could try without any filters, or you could leave the volume filter on and something like that.
Okay.
But the Titan filter is the one that removes a lot of the trades.
Oh, okay.
All right, sweet.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. You are welcome. All right.
And it's Mike. Any
Mike.
chance that you can get a scorekeeper on this, like you did for the extremes?
I've
Not
considered it.
scorekeeper, whatever you call
Yeah,
table, I
I
guess.
know
Right?
what you're talking about. I considered it, and we've talked about it a couple times. But the thing is, a lot of these Titan signals, we know how they set up, right? We know how they set up. They set up like boom, boom, boom. But because of how the pattern is shaped, what that means is that before entry, a lot of times what happens is the stop loss is hit, but that's okay because we're not in the trade, right? We are waiting for the entry, right? And so the entry is up here and it's pending. This third candle might open up and it's it's doing its thing, right? And that's fine. It's cool. But then when it comes up and hits entry, bam, now we're in the trade and now it should not hit the stop loss. So with that being said, that means that there's one candle that that went through here. When I load this on TradingView, it's not gonna know did it hit the stop loss or the entry first. So I've already explored it, and the results aren't worth. It's like if the results aren't accurate, then it's like, well, is it really worth displaying them? Worst thing I'd want is for it to say really good results, but then the results aren't bad, are bad, or I don't want it to say bad results and then people have doubts while it's actually working good. So I just decided not to even put it on there.
Gotcha. Right on.
Yeah, but I do have something. I do have something with stats here. It lost its trade today, but like I said, we're not done. I'm going to be showing you guys this on mentorship, but sorry, I'm eating in your ear. Hold on. But I'll be going over this with you guys on mentorship today on the webinar. So it'll be recorded. So if you guys that can't make it, you can watch on the recording, but you can see here that that I got this thing here. This is what I'm about to push out. This is going to be like, I think, a no-brainer type of system. I could put on here. This shows every trade that, I mean, as far back as history can go. This is every single trade and the exact date. So let's say between January 26th and today, let me see, today, between, what is this here? Yeah, so between the 26th and today, you can see this is every single trade that has ever happened. So there's the total. Here's also the totals right here. This should match. Yeah, this is matching now. And so I got a tiny little bit of stuff I need to, like visual things that I need to add to it. And then once I do that, I'll be done with it. This is, you can see that, so look, between the 26th and the 13th, these are very, very clear. It's very easy to trade. It's going to give you the entry, the stop loss. It's going to show the take profit, right? So yeah, of course today, 2 trades lost on it, but but whatever. This was yesterday, so how about this? I'll show you this. That whole move down yesterday, bam, bam, bam. They all hit. You can see where we entered. We can see where we exited. This was all of the trades from yesterday right here. I've got it set up in such a way to where you can see the max drawdown from high water mark and everything. So this is max drawdown. So, we can mess around with this to where we're going to be able to, you'll really be able to set it up for the size account that you have, right? So let's say, let's say we change it to 5 contracts. Okay, hold on, that's too much drawdown. Hold on. I mean, unless you're on like a 300K account. Let me make it work for. I don't want to push the limit. Let's go 4. Okay, so 4. That's max $1,900 drawdown. I know that that's pushing the limit right on some of these accounts, but you know, that's why this is here, right? You could adjust the settings the way you want, but let's say if you're, you know, moderate in the middle right here, that's 3 contracts. This is a micro version. I don't, I mean, the mini version, you guys have to wait for that until you've got buffers on your account, but the profit is crazy on the mini version. But look, total high watermark 6,300, right? That was probably before today. Right now it's at 5,900 total over the last 42 trades, which is just as far back as it can go. Total drawdown was 1,400, and this is a list of every single trade that you would have taken. So this, I mean, you can't, and it's 100% accurate too. So it's 100% accurate. I've really done something crazy here. I've surprised myself with this. I mean, I've got it set up. I've got it set up smart for people with cash accounts versus prop firm accounts. Like, see, this is an auto close before the session ends. So these results, they don't accidentally include some trades that may have gone into the next session. I've got it automatically closing. I've got the trades where the labels all merge together. I mean, this is going to be, it's going to be a game changer. This is going to be an absolute game changer for people. And it's guaranteed. I mean, it's literally guaranteed. And then, oh God, I just can't even tell you what I've done. I can't tell you what I've done, but I feel like I actually cracked a code. Like when I started looking at this, I mean, I was like, dude, these are all one-to-one trades. These are one-to-one trades. Before those 2 losses right here, we were at a 65% win rate. I've seen with different settings, I can, because you can add in, you know, you could do different things, right? Like let's say we want to, like, I know this level works really good. Okay, so look, if you would have over the last 10 trades here, if you would have just taken the last 10 trades doing with the settings that I did, which is less trades but a little bit more conservative, you got a freaking 77% win rate, and that is if you took profit right there. Look at this thing, kept on dropping forever. A lot of these, they had more profit potential, but that's a 77% win rate at a 1-to-1. Yeah, and everything is tracked. I mean, I've built this thing perfectly. So yeah, so I'm pretty excited to go over that with you guys. And then I also have another, which I'm kind of like deciding how I'm going to do this, but this one gives more trades. I'm probably going to create kind of a hybrid, like a hybrid between this, but this one, I've got a 72% win rate on this one. Max drawdown 800, $4,600 total profit over the last 18 trades. That's less than 30 days. So that's, yeah, this is gonna be big. I've tried not to be mean to people, but I'm like, all the people that I gave like some like I'm so confident in this that I'm actually starting to feel like you're gonna regret that you didn't do this, like, because it's about to be maxed out. Like when I do what I'm about to do here with these guarantees on this, I mean, it's like it is literally a no-brainer, and you can't be more transparent than this. Like most people, they're trying to hide the bad trades and this and that. I'm literally showing every single thing. So you know, I've said before, I've got a cap on this program and things like that. And so I've been walking around my head real high, and I'm just like, yeah, and like everyone that's in here and that you guys did, you know, you did it. You're in a real good position. I told you I'd take care of us. So
This is a part of the mentorship thing.
yes, it is.
Okay, yeah, I'm
I
gonna
have
go
a
on board
question.
soon for sure.
So this thing that you're talking about right now, Matt and Darren were talking this morning how they didn't want to be reliant on a indicator, and they just wanted to become better traders. Is this going to be a crutch that everyone will just jump on and use and get successful, or is this something that that somehow teaches people? I guess they're just going to have to do that themselves.
You I'll put it this way. This is a system. It's a tool, and there would be no way to be able to do this with your own brain. It's impossible. This is
What you said was
exposing.
true, but don't get me wrong. If there's something like this that is fantastic and stuff, I'm all for it.
Yeah, we're
Oh, I am
leveraging.
too.
Yeah, we are
I'm
leveraging
not, don't get me
technology.
wrong. I'm not going against you.
I know.
I'm
I
like in
know.
I'm in that same mindset. I'm like, is this going to be something that if it breaks or can, something happens to Kenneth or whatever, and he doesn't, then we're a bunch of stupid people relying on an indicator.
You know what I would say? Get the money while you can.
Okay.
Get in here. Let's get in here and let's make some money.
100%.
So I look.
100%.
I'm not gonna go anywhere. I'm not gonna go anywhere. I don't plan on going anywhere. I love developing systems, and this is just I've just really freaking nailed it with this one. I mean, it's like it's almost I've spent almost 48 hours making sure that the data is correct, because it's like this is too good to be true type of stuff, you know what I mean? And so these are stats that are hard to hold up over time, but what I'm exploiting something that I had an idea, and I'm exploiting something, and it's actually given me a huge like perspective shift on I'm already, as soon as I'm done with this, I'm already sitting on the edge of my chair. I have another idea to exploit this even further. So like it started out like this. If you notice the name, so you see STS price compression, and then you have the fractional compression. This is how it started out, and these results were great. And then I mean, this is really good, but there was less trades doing it this way. But I mean, this you can go back and go back and go back and go back. I mean, all the results are right here. I don't have a table on this one yet, but that's because I started doing this and I said, holy moly, wait a minute here. And then I said, what if I scaled this down to more fractional levels, to where instead of these, like basically what you're looking at here is essentially the same as if you were to get rid of all of these levels and only run that level. So now you've basically got the same results. See, so all I did was I gave us more opportunities. So I mean, this is great, just like this, but like, there's going to be times where it makes sense to trade more of the opportunities, right? And so you see, by just doing what I did there, now see, look, level 1 over time is not profitable, so we're just going to get rid of that. And that's why I said I've got some stuff. I'm finishing this up like as we speak. But do you see how I went from this version to the version I just showed you, which is the one that's it's ready for release? I mean, I got after I'm done with our meeting and stuff, I'm going, and it's done. We're doing it. I'm not gonna wait. I'm not gonna wait. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just pushing it out. That's it. You're getting it today. There's no question about it. We're gonna have to start working on this, because I've already spent 2 days of my own time just like in awe, like making sure that, like, because I've actually created some things in the past, and as I was creating them, inadvertently, especially multi-time frame indicators. If any of you guys have ever built indicators before, and you accidentally built a multi-time frame indicator and it looked perfect, and you were like, "Holy moly, I cracked the code," and then all of a sudden you realize, "Oh, this is multi-time frame. It actually repaints," and then all of a sudden you kind of you get excited for nothing. I've done that dozens of times. When I'm building something, you have to be really careful that the results that you're getting when you look at this, TradingView can only calculate open closed data, open high, low, closed. It can only do that. So if the signal was supposed to happen here, right, it's most likely going to move the entry up to there, and things like that. So like, you have to be really careful when you're building stuff. And when I started seeing the results on that, I was like, before I get excited, let me make sure. And then I said, let me make sure. I've spent 48 hours with my eyeballs on the screen, making sure that this thing is perfect. And It's gonna get better. It's absolutely gonna get better, but I'm ready to release what I've got right now. So it's gonna be a game changer. And look, let's look at it this way. You don't want to be completely reliant on a system or an indicator. Let this be a little supplement, right? Just a little supplement. Maybe, okay, I'm gonna do my price action stuff, but hey, nothing wrong with having this one as
No shame in my game, Kevin.
huh?
I got no shame in my game if we're going to use the indicators to start to get going and
Yeah.
then learn, because if I think I'll feel more if I get confident with what I'm doing with
Yeah.
the indicators and then learn on my own little by little. So if God forbid, your indicators get wiped out or something
Right.
happens, at least I already know what patterns to look for. So I think
Yeah.
that's a good crutch initially, kind of like when kids are starting to walk, they need the little walker.
Yeah.
And then they run off on their own. So
Mhm.
that's how I see it.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. And so if y'all notice, it's really, really good at identifying the right market conditions. I mean, I've done some things here. Now look at the buying opportunities that are in these boxes too, though, you guys. So not only is it giving you really good trades, but it's also like there are trading opportunities inside of the trading opportunities. So that's, I mean, even using it as kind of a regime filter to, to do this. So yeah, very, very
Yeah, I'm gonna
excited.
just the process. Just the process.
Yeah.
I got one quick question
All right.
off the subject. You ever looking at Tradeify?
No, but I've been thinking about looking at some different platforms because I was thinking I know they got I look people do a bunch of crazy stuff with these trading with their trading accounts because they're trying to get to the money faster. So if there's a more direct route to get people payouts,
Yeah.
like daily
Yeah.
instant payouts, right? It might be
Yeah,
a good
it's up to
idea.
$1,000. Yeah, it's up to $1,000 a day with Tradeify, and they got the straight to funded accounts.
Right.
No evaluation, and the stipulations are different. So I was just asking if you ever looked into it or thought about looking into it.
I've never looked at another prop firm, but
Okay.
I'm open. I am definitely open to it. Just because, like, why not? If we can
Especially
get
with what you
people
got going on here.
yeah, right. So like,
You
yeah,
know.
I mean, imagine you hook it up and bam, you know how much drawdown you have, you know this, you know that,
Yep.
and you just
Yep.
start taking your trades,
And it's way different than Apex. Apex at the evaluation stage and all that other crap and the stipulations. It's a lot different. A lot
Yep.
different. My little brother is the one that put me on it. The one I tell you about to be trading.
Yeah.
He down with them too. He's down with Lucid. He's down with a couple of them, but Tradeify, he said, is the best one.
Tradeify, huh?
And, yeah.
Yeah, we need to get it. What
Something
we need to
looking
do is we need to get like a little thing going in, like a little section inside of in our chat or something that's just strictly all about prop firms and deals, or I wonder if I could use like AI or something to try to pool all that data together so we could. But then you're gonna have to update it. I think people have already done that. I think people have already done that where we can compare the different firms, and and you go with the firm that makes the most sense to you. If you trying to get those payouts quicker, I mean, I get the money faster. I'm fine with that.
Right. Yep.
Sweet. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna take a little break, and then I'll see you guys on the webinar at 12 o'clock. Everyone else, I'll see you guys on Monday morning.
Monday. Yep. Have a
Hey,
good
we
weekend.
trading Monday. I know it's a holiday.
Oh, do we have a holiday? What is it?
Presidents, I think.
President, I posted a mentorship. I can post it in the STS chat too if you want. I got the Apex notification.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Well,
President's Day.
if the market's moving, we're gonna be grooving.
Hey, I'm with it.
All right.
All right.
See you guys on Monday, and I'll see you guys in the meeting.
Thanks, Kevin.
Good weekend.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.